We are back! Spring break happened.
It did.
It was also a brighter day today, but now it's gone dark, so that's why the sunglasses are here.
It decided to rain a little bit, so...
Yeah, but, you know, pollen... We want the rain to wash that away. But anyway, we do know that the One Piece live action season 2 did drop while we were on break, and we actually watched it for our first, I guess my first watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, first watch together on a site. I was gonna
on a website.
Realize can't say that technically, but yeah, we did watch it together. Audrey can attest to how many times I paused it geeking out. I'm sorry. But as y'all know, I'm Quincy.
I'm Audrey.
We love a certain show.
One Piece.
But we also cover other anime.
Delicious in Dungeon.
Apothecary Diaries.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Solo Leveling. We like to spiel.
Exactly.
Covering seasonal anime, this is Seasonal Spiels. So, Seasonal Spiels. We finally get to talk about the One Piece live action. We've hinted at it because, unfortunately the timing of when our show started was after the first season.
Right.
Just timing. But... this second season, I can hands down say, is just so much better. But
it is.
First, let's get into what they're covering and how much they're covering. Actually, before that, let's get into spoilers. If you're live action only, please leave now.
Yeah,
there's going to be anime spoilers, like story spoilers. Please leave now. And even for anime, aside from two slight spoilers for Wano, and I'm stopping there because I know you're not through it.
Yeah.
But you do know the things I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
But for people watching, once we get to those two things I mentioned, one of which is going to be in our part 2, which I'll explain in a second, but one will be in this episode. We'll timestamp, hey, skip from here to here if you don't want to hear the slight spoiler.
Yeah.
I say slight because I'm really just talking about a line of dialogue and what that is referencing, which is barely anything.
Yeah, fair.
The one in next episode will be a little more. Definitely skip if you don't want to, if you don't know. But other than that, we're going to go anything up through Whole Cake Fair Game. Or up through Reverie. Yeah. Because that's actually it's fair game to talk about. And that's important to know because that's going to be important for the part 2. Why do I keep saying part 1, part 2? We're going to break this up because we want to yap about these episodes.
And the episodes are long, so by extension we're going to be talking a lot.
Exactly.
And it makes more sense.
So what we're ending up doing is, no, we're not doing the first 4 this episode and then part 2 the next 4. No, that'd be silly. We're going to do the first 3 because that's a good stopping place for the arcs. And also I have found more things to talk about in the first 3 than I have, especially in the last 3. No offense. It's not a bad thing. We'll get to that in part 2. So part 1 we'll be releasing as usual, because now we're back. But the next episode will be the part 2 of this OPLA discussion, which will cover 4 through 8, just because it just works better arc-wise to cut it like that, rather than cutting Little Garden in half awkwardly like that. It doesn't work discussion-wise, but yeah. So, speaking of Little Garden, that's what Season 2 is covering. So, Season 1 covered up through Arlong Park, almost all of the East Blue Saga, and Season 2 just picks up right where we ended off, finishing the East Blue Saga with Loguetown, and starting the Alabasta Saga from Reverse Mountain all the way through Drum Island. Yeah. Setting up literally the second half of the saga, which is all Alabasta for Season 3, which is kind of promised to us. Obviously, Netflix could be jerks and still cut it anyway, but they did say production is happening, presumably still happening. So at least there is a promise that even if for some reason they cancel this show, even though it's really freaking good, even if they cancel and don't keep doing more seasons, we at least will get through the saga they started. So that's something. Right. Just to get that out there. But, I've talked a lot. One more thing before we get into summaries, why this is important for why I think the success of this season is so much better than Season 1, which was already a great success, mind you. The length of One Piece, the bit that they are adapting. Season 1 was covering 95 chapters, and that's cutting out Loguetown, the end of the saga. Right. Which, fair enough, it's not a good place to end if you're already scrunching everything else. So I think that was fine. Season 2 is covering 60. Yeah. 59 if you want to be really specific, but that's 2/3 of the content that they smushed in Season 1. Plus, Season 1's B-plot with Garp was I think it was something like 45 minutes, so you really only had 7 hours and 15 minutes to cover 95 chapters. Because the Kobe Mepper cover story is one cover. It's a few pages. It's not the same. Right. So, sorry. I also just didn't like Garp, as we've talked about. Anyway, now, getting into it, we're going to go into our summaries. I've been yapping a lot. You want to start off? Your summary? What our thoughts are.
I'm trying to think about what...
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, because it's not that I forget what the episode is, but my notes are very
that's fine.
Individual things.
Yeah, so we're going to cover episodes 1, 2, 3 this episode, but we're going to start with a summary of because here's the thing. If things are good every episode, I'm just going to put it in the summary. I'm not going to keep saying, oh, this was great. Oh, this was still great. This shouldn't take too much time. So, starting praise-wise, casting and actors deliver. Phenomenal acting, phenomenal cast. I think I have one minor gripe, but it's more of a scene problem than an actor problem.
Right.
Which I'll get to in part 2, ironically enough. But yeah, just to put that out there. But the VFX, okay, they had a lot of money in season 1. I feel like they had to up that game just for the VFX alone, and it delivered. Like, it's so good. I have a few minor nitpicks, but they're nitpicks for a reason. It looks so pretty. It does look real. And they brought Chopper and Laboon to life and made them cute. Like, that's so impressive.
Laboon especially. I mean, not that he was not cute.
But, like, he's definitely more of a whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he is just a whale in the anime and the manga too, but like there's obviously like cartoonish stylization of the whale, whereas in the live action you're like, well, he is just a real whale.
Exactly.
So how are they gonna make that cute? But they delivered on it.
Cute. Oh,
they gave him puppy dog eyes, and it was the best thing they could have done for him.
And Chopper. Okay, actually, so fun note. It's the only time I'm gonna mention it, but Netflix did also release a little podcast behind the scenes, and Oda actually said, like, in an interview, which you get snippets of Oda talking, which is cool. Never see the face, it's always the fish.
Yeah.
Typical mangaka, you know, come on. Man needs to not be known by everyone. Let's get that out there. But anyway, he did mention that in the first few designs of their, like, VFX Chopper, he was like, they kept doing real anatomy, and I had to tell them, make him look like a plush, because it kept blending into the uncanny valley effect.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can see that, because he does look like a plush.
Right.
Which is Chopper, let's be real. So cute. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Like, that does make more sense, because if you try to make him, it kind of runs into that, like, the first iteration of when they were making the Sonic live action movies. Yep. Like, I don't know if you remember that.
I do. It looks
I'm so glad
bad.
they changed that, by the way, not to tangent, but like, I can see how making Chopper too realistic would be an issue, because it's like, well, you obviously want to keep some of the realism, because yes, this is One Piece live action, so things are going to be crazy, but you still want to, like, be able to see, I guess, Chopper, like, in this world and have him fit, but also don't make him a real reindeer.
Don't make him look, like,
creepy. And a freak,
Yeah, because, like, I'm sorry, if... I think that was, like, the most impressive thing is how they nailed Chopper and Laboon. Mm-hmm. Chopper more so, because he is a character. I mean, okay, Laboon is a character, but, like, he's literally...
Chopper's a character that talks and interacts
Yes,
with
Chopper
else.
is a thinking character, intellectual, no offense Laboon, but Laboon is a smart whale.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out there. A whale who does not verbally communicate. Mm-hmm. Very different problem. So I thought they did a great job with the Spring Chopper life. That was probably make or break for them.
Yeah.
I would say they did such good job, or I don't really begrudge season 1 aside from the guard plot line. Aside from elongating the Kobe Meppo cover story, which wasn't great. Yeah. As I've talked about before, I'm not going to talk about it now. But I think they did a much better job not only doing their B-plot this season, which was not as much time, so they didn't take away as much time from the main story, but also what they ended up writing, because, like, they had the through line of, like, the map to the Grand Line. Arlong wants that, and I thought that worked, because they only had so much story to tell. You might as well set up the big bad at the beginning, right? Because that's where we're gonna end, is Arlong Park. Worked for me, cool. But Alabasta, sure, we know Mr. Zero's the big threat, and obviously, come on, Crocodile, we know. But but it's also like, well, we're ending at Drum, so how are we gonna make Wapple a genuine threat? So I think they did that well. We'll touch on that more in part 2, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I think they did a really good job of actually just letting everything connect naturally as the story normally connects. They did change a couple things, but that didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they were able to focus on their good dialogue. The dialogue has improved, at least from my perspective, because all I can remember, because I have not rebinged season 1, but I remember hating a lot of Zoro's lines, because it was, like, so edgy, like, oh, I want to wear black. I'm like, what do you mean? You wear green. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's like the dialogue plus the characterization of all of them has gotten a lot better, I think.
Yeah, it's less one note.
Right.
Which was, the reason it's a problem with Zoro is because he was the first one to pick up. Could we not have added something? I'm fine with them being more one note when they don't want to be part of Luffy's crew. But even when they got to Arlong Park, he was still so, like, edgy, and I was like, can we?
That's not who he is.
That's just not who he is. Yeah. So I'm really happy that they actually fixed that problem. I would say primarily with Zoro, Nami, and Usopp. Mm-hmm. In that order, because Zoro, he got his finally dumb, funny moments, which we will talk about, because it's the best part of the humor of this season, for sure. So happy. Yeah. Can't wait to talk about it. You know what? I think you know what I'm thinking of. I'm sure y'all know what we're thinking of. Mm-hmm. Nami, thankfully, she doesn't have the walls up anymore, so she's, like, being vulnerable, which is great to see. aside from, you know, her crying and stabbing herself, we didn't really get that as expected, because that's the whole point, is her learning to trust them and go with them on her journey. And then finally Usopp, because he just got, let's just frankly say it, screwed over in season 1. They took out his actual brave moments and kind of chopped them together. I would say it's more egregious in his own arc in Syrup Village than it is in Allen Park, because that's just so much is happening, and also it was during the SAG strike, so it was all a mess.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, the editing was not by the original team, it was by Netflix people. So I can forgive, because apparently they had like the Usopp stuff, it just didn't get in the final version. So they finally fixed that, and we're like, we know we're giving him time in Little Garden, and they did, which again, part 2.
Yes.
This is a summary. I would say those are all the main things that were just fantastic every episode. Again, a couple things, minor nitpicks, which I'll touch on just to say, like, doesn't look great, or a certain scene. But for the most part, that's my thoughts. And as always, and I'm going to be talking about this pretty extensively, the Easter eggs, what they end up moving forward from later game arcs. Oh, it's just, I love how they incorporate it. Not to say the Easter eggs and stuff they did in season 1 was bad, but I feel like they just upped the ante this season. And it's so good.
And they do it in a way that's not spoilery to people who don't know what is being referenced. But it also works, or at least to me it felt like it worked, like in the context of the story, like by not comparing it to what it's referencing, but just like throwing that. It's not like throwing that in there and being like, hey, you guys know that?
No, it's like it's not like, oh my gosh, do you think this is that? Oh, what, you know, it's like, it's subtle when it needs to be, and I'm sure there's a lot more in the background that we just can't see, and I'm not gonna freeze frame and zoom in on. But also, even the things that are just dialogue and more obvious to fans, newcomers for sure will know, because that's the point. Is it's just little tidbits for fans, especially long time, especially manga only fans. I'm gonna put that out there. I definitely won't spoil anything, but I have caught some Elbaf related things for sure. I'm not gonna mention them, except for I think I'm going to mention one, but it's one that you have seen for sure. It's one that's not literally in the arc in the manga, but I have caught nods to that, and I'm so impressed. Just wow. But yeah, I would say overall, final just summary. This season, so season 1 I think was a great adaptation. Broke boundaries and was just great. I can't argue. I think this season, not only did it become probably one of the better adaptations of any media I've seen from one source from one medium to another, but I think it actually elevates almost every arc except for Drum Island.
I would say that.
I would say this would be the preferred way to watch it for the most part. I have a couple. I would say Reverse Mountain and Twin Capes is probably equal either way. I think they're pretty standard, but I do believe Loguetown, Whiskey Peak, and for sure Little Garden is way better than the original source. And that's not an insult to Oda. I just think they took out the worst parts. In the best way possible.
That's true. There's one I can think of we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Unfortunately, again, part 2. But anyway, that's my summary. Anything else to add? I know I've been yapping a lot.
Well, speaking of the VFX, this wasn't like every episode because she's not in every episode, but I do want to shout out like the way that they adapt Robin's Devil Fruit. Is really good. Like
Hana no Mi.
No. Because like we already saw it with Luffy both in season 1 and in this season, where like I had the thought of like, well, how are you gonna make his like the gum fruit like rubber person? How are you gonna like that works in a, I guess less so in a manga because you're not seeing the actual movement, but that works in like an animated format more, I think. Not that it doesn't work here, but like I feel like it's a similar thought of like, okay, they did a really good job adapting Luffy's Devil Fruit, so I wonder what they're gonna. Robin's, I would argue, is maybe a little bit easier to do just because it's
you are just copying her arms and just moving them around.
But they do a really good job. And actually, like I like the flowers that I think that's a thing. I mean, obviously the flowers are a part of it too, but I don't know if they have them like sprout up every single time that she.
Not every time,
but
they do it a lot in the anime. Usually in the anime, what you'll see, especially after the time skip, is they'll have them like. They'll have the flowers kind of make it, but they do it very rarely, and usually sometimes they'll have it. But I think that's also because Oda does it very rarely. It's kind of like once you know, like it.
You don't need to see it every time.
It's her arms, but they're flowers. It's like you know. It's just.
Same thing with Smoker too. He's obviously
that's what I was gonna say.
He's not in every episode either, but like overall they did a good job. Like that one is harder I think than both. Luffy
I think it's more
Robin.
Impressive.
Yeah, so it's more impressive that they make it look the way that they do.
Yeah, because they're literally generating smoke, and it both looks fantastical and real. Like it does look like smoke being made and controlled by Smoker, and I was like, oh.
First
fight scene, we'll get to it. It's just phenomenal. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Okay, now into it. So episode 1, the titles are interesting, but this one's the most straightforward. The beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Loguetown. Come on. It's literally the town at the beginning and the end.
Right.
So happy it's got adapted. I just want to say straight up, first off, I do love, one of my favorite lines from this episode is Nami at the beginning saying, "You didn't think we were going to skip Loguetown, did you?" And it feels like a poke at the audience.
It does.
Because I feel like a lot of people were afraid, like, oh, are they going to just go straight to reverse? And I'm so glad they didn't. And I think they knew they had to for 2 important reasons. 1, Smoker, who was going to be the B-plot if you don't set him up.
Right.
And 2, you already had this amazing set, and you know how impactful it is for longtime fans. Imagine new fans watching it too. I think they just knew they had to have it.
Yeah.
And weren't gonna try and like shove all the Alabasta saga in season 2. I think they were like, no, you're gonna give us a 3rd season because we're gonna let it breathe. We need this pacing. You saw how 95 chapters did. It was terrible. Not terrible.
It also works as like a reintroduction, I think, to the characters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Because, like, if you just started with, like, we're going to Reverse Mountain right now, it's, like, not that would be disorienting for fans. Well, both for fans and for, like, viewers who are new to this, or who have seen season 1 but not, like, the manga or the anime. Like, it works as a way to be like, okay, we're in this world again, but we're not immediately into, like, I mean, they get into action later on, but, like, at least at the very start, it's like, we're still doing, like, kind of pit stops, I guess.
Yes.
Like, we're gonna go here, we have a set goal, and then we're gonna start getting into
And I think it also helps that they stop there because of the importance of stocking up on things, on supplies, food, medical equipment. I feel like that also helps build the realism. Not that that's not what they did in the anime manga, but also you have the benefit of, like, they have food. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you don't really think about it. They don't mention it much until it's, like, important in Luffy starting. Or, you know, or ate all the food.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. Season 3. Because we know what happens then. But anyway, I would agree with that. I feel like, you know, they really did such a great job. I'm just going to mention this because it's definitely spoilers if I say it specifically. But I did catch a lot of store names in the background of Loguetown referencing certain characters and certain, like, just characters and, like, I guess families in general. That you will eventually learn in Elbaf once that arc gets animated. I think this episode not only helps you, like you said, reintroduce yourself to the world and to the Straw Hats, but also does such a good job of, like, kind of both adapting what actually happened in Loguetown, no offense to anime onlys, but also some of the anime only plot lines. Because I do think, I don't think this is fully but I could just be reading into this, but I feel like with so many Easter eggs, they might have played into it. Yeah. But you know when Usopp first finds his iconic goggles, and it's on a girl's head, I'm sure that's a reference to the anime only, you know, daddy's girl or whatever, like the famous outlaw daddy and his little daughter, because in that anime only, like, because in the manga, Usopp just finds them at a store and buys them. Oh. But in the anime, a little girl finds them and is like, no, it's mine, daddy! And her dad is literally daddy. He's a bounty hunter who's famous for his sniping skills, and so Usopp has to fight him in a sniping battle to get the goggles.
This seems like a weird thing. I mean,
but it's a little girl who has them. I feel like it's gotta be a nod to her.
Right.
Just by the nature of it starts the same way. How he finds the goggles. Granted, he didn't fight her dad. For them. And at the end of the episode, they're like, oh, this bar used to be frequented by, you know, it was Gold Roger's bar, and people used to come here, but he died. And the bartender was Raoul. That's the other anime only scene where Luffy just stumbles upon this dead bar with Raoul, the bartender, and they're like, yeah, Gold Roger used to be here, and Smoker shows up, not knowing it's Luffy. Which is kind of crazy in retrospect for the anime to do when he literally just had a bounty poster. I thought that was cute, a little nod, because that's the bar Smoker finds Tashigi in at the end of the episode. So so stuff like that is kind of cute, just to see, like, oh, even anime stuff, they're gonna take a nod to. Yeah. So that was just fun.
I mean, like, well, I had the same thought of, like, in the beginning, I think the episode starts with the clip that we got, like, however long ago. Yeah. Like, the clip that they released of, from season 2, where it's, them deciding to go to Loguetown. Yeah. Even that, like, we've already seen, I guess if you watch that, but also, if you watch I've already seen, so I know how it goes, but it is nice to see, like, the Straw Hats interacting with each other, and again, like, they fix, I think, some of the characterization issues from the first season, and that also, like, in that scene, but also when they get to Loguetown, like, the way that they split up, I think it's Zoro goes on his own. Yep.
That's not a problem.
Right? Which, you know, Zoro goes on his own. It's
Nami and Usopp and Luffy and stuff.
Yeah. But like before they decide to split up, it's like I forget like the dialogue specifically, but it feels very much like closer to their animated and I guess like manga counterparts than it did previous. Not that they weren't like themselves in the previous season, but it definitely like highlights.
I feel like
it reintroduces you to them, but it also gives them better dialogue and characterization than they had before, which is nice to see. Also, like, talking about Zoro being silly again.
Yes.
When he goes on his own, he has, like... I mean, for the most part, it's like at least when he goes to the sword shop, it's the same as it is.
And it looks phenomenal.
And it does look really good. But I think...
Tashigi?
No, is it after that he leaves or before he goes in?
Before he goes in.
Before he goes in, he runs into Tashigi. And the part about that I like is he has a line of, like... he says something about like, oh no, I'm not lost.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what she says to him, but it's so funny.
She's like, are you lost? He's like, I'm not lost.
I'm not, I
He's
promise.
so defensive.
I would never.
I would never.
Yeah.
Sure. I can't wait till they keep that gag and are like, no, Zoro can't go alone. Because later in the episode too, he's like, this way, and Sanji and Luffy listen to him, only for him to find, oh, it's Tashigi down this alley.
Right.
Maybe don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Which is just funny to me.
Mm.
I totally forgot about that, because like I think that's one of the better things is like even when they keep it beat for beat, the sword scene where he's getting his new swords, the Sandai Kitetsu and Yubashiri, which rest in peace Yubashiri, you get arrested and then he's in lobby. But I think what I really like is even for the Sandai Kitetsu scene, I think how they shot it, the angles of like looking down as it's spinning high in the air before coming back down and passing his arm, it's better than the anime does it, because somehow when the anime slow-mos it just looks really weird. And I think it's also just because of how it's like 20 plus years old now.
True.
And even in the episode of East Blue, it's not great either. I don't know, something about how they animate it slow-mo just doesn't work for me. Like I get it, but it does feel like it just feels contrived. In the manga, it's not a problem. It's panel. But I feel like how they shot it falling down and then passing works for me. Even though I know it's VFX, and still it just worked. Somehow worked for me. But yeah, I do think the snails are not growing on me. No offense.
But I feel like that's a. It's not that they're also not super cute in the anime or manga either. But they have I
was gonna say, they're kind of cute.
They're cuter, arguably. Yeah. But, like, they're still snails, and I feel like there's only so much you can do with a snail to make it, like, I don't think you can chopperify a snail and make it, like...
It's not a bad thing. It just looks as creepy as last season.
Yeah.
And we'll get to scenes where it's worse.
Right.
In part 2, because, oof.
Yeah.
Oof. That's all I'm gonna say. But, yeah. Give me a second.
I like that even just, like, even though they look scary,
yeah,
I like that this is both, like, a season 1 and a season 2 thing. It's not really specific to the snails, but I do like that, like, in being a live action, they're not trying to make it more serious.
Yes.
Not in terms of, like, the tone overall, but they're not trying to make it, like, more realistic.
Not
like,
dark.
Yeah, well, what I mean is, like, they're not taking the fun out of it.
Yes.
By, like, because, I mean, you could just have the snails be phones.
Yeah.
But they don't do that, because it's a part of, like, I mean...
I see what you're saying now, yes.
Like, they're not afraid to lean into the more, like, goofy aspects of One Piece, just like, because you could, like, make a lot of things different, like the snails, they could just be phones, because you might have the thought of, like, oh, what if a viewer sees this being... Like, what if somebody not familiar with the story already sees this being a snail and is like, what is that?
Yeah.
But, like, I like that they're not going in that direction. They're like, no, this is how the story is.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now into some, like, important things. So, I like how they, drop lore, kind of not sporadically. They do it intentionally, but, like, talking about the combo at the first scene, explaining why Reverse Mountain is a point, which later gets mentioned again. I want to say next episode, when Garp shows up and explains, marine vessels can travel through the column belt, but pirates can't do that. And so that's a nice nod to Vegapunk's technology with the sea stone paint. I think it's paint. It's something on the keel, or not just the keel, just the underside of a ship. But anyway, that allows them to do that. So that's cool. Like little nods to that. Sea stone is first introduced here, period, which I think is smart. I feel like introducing it now instead of waiting till literally when Crocodile captures him in his casino is a better time.
Yeah.
Because, Smoker does use it on his G, and they, again, mentioned that in next episode with Garp. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice play, introducing it now. But the main things I want to talk about is some changes they've made. Let's first talk about the Garp and Roger scene. That is this episode, right? I'm not going crazy?
It is the first episode.
Okay. So, Garp and Roger, we see, we're flashing back to Roger's about to get executed. We see, oh yeah, Garp, the hero of the Marines. I love how he's poking fun at it. And here's the first spoiler for even you, if you're okay. It's a minor spoiler. Yeah. It's a Wano thing. It's a Wano thing, and on. But first introducing Wano, God Valley. What a lore drop right off the gate. I love it because, of course, Roger knows because he was there. Yeah. And of course, he uses it to poke fun at Garp because that is how he became the hero of the Marines, is from the God Valley incident. And he also is very aware that it's not a praise because Garp is like, it's just like Smoker getting foisted I defeated Crocodile for Alabasta. He doesn't want that label. That was Luffy. And why are you foisting it on me? Same idea with Garp. He's like, I was not the hero there.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, he hates what happened there too. They both are aware that it's not praise. It's just tease. Like, aren't you so happy? So I thought that was a crazy lore drop. So. Yeah, we're fine now. But that was cool. And I also just like seeing Roger and Garp interact. Mm-hmm. And I do think this is cool to add because it's not inaccurate. First off, they did have this conversation. Maybe they didn't mention the what. But they did have this conversation where Garp was like, why'd you want me here? And he's like, dude, please take care of my son.
Take care of my son, yeah.
Which is actually a crazy line that they say that because I'm pretty sure in the manga and anime it's kid because, they're not born yet. So it's not like he knows it's a son. So my thoughts is that this scene is specifically pulled here to encourage live action only people that Luffy is Roger's son.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a bad thing. I think it's fine because I'm pretty sure, not that I was a fan at the time, but I'm pretty sure fans at the time were also speculating, there's so many parallels with Luffy and Roger, they gotta be related. Sure. But that's also the point, is the whole parallel is the fact that Luffy has inherited Roger's will. So I think it works and can tease newcomers. I don't think that's really a problem to me.
Yeah.
Any notes for that scene? Sorry.
I think that the way that they tie, obviously new time viewers will have already seen the parallels drawn by the story between Luffy and Roger. So I think it works to have it be ambiguous who he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because if he just dropped
Ace.
Yeah.
I already named him.
Right.
I know he's the boy.
If he just dropped that it was Ace and then you don't see Ace, obviously Ace doesn't appear until Alabasta starts, and so we don't get any of him this season. Or, any of... Yeah, actually. I was gonna say mention, but also, he's not shown this season. So I think it makes more sense to first compare, have it be ambiguous about, they could be related in some way. Because, the end of the episode 2, or I think it's the end of the episode, maybe. I mean, obviously you have, Luffy being executed
towards the end,
as a parallel too, but I think... No, this is later on, never mind. There's another comparison between the two of them.
Oh, okay.
But, both, with the execution... Basically what I'm getting at is they've been compared before, and it's, very clear that they, behave in not behave in similar ways, but, they're going towards the same thing. Mm-hmm. Luffy has inherited that will from Roger, and so it makes sense to compare the two and then have it be brought up later that that's not actually, no, it's not. Guess what?
Also what I think works is okay, I'm all game as long as they do it justice, just like this scene. I'm all game for pulling later content, and now, as we'll talk about in a minute, for another big part of this episode, character specifically, is because let's be real. Do I want them to make it all the way to current anime? Of course I do. Would they be 75? Of course they would. Yeah. So, I want to talk about it later. But just know, I don't think they're going to make it to Marineford. Frankly, I don't think they should try. So I think it works. And I say try because we got to think about how many chapters away that is. And we're only, 150-ish in.
Yeah.
So we're not near it. and that's again, only 2 seasons, and it's taken 5 years.
Right.
They're already getting older. I feel like pushing it too far is my thought is, if you want to continue going, I think the best stopping point is Enies Lobby. You get that Robin, I want to live.
Yeah.
And the Mary's gone, so it's the Mary's gone.
Right.
It's probably that's a good, we're making a new ship and we're continuing our journey, but our time with the Mary and with the live action is Done. I feel like that'd be if you're not ending after Alabasta, that would be the next best ending. I love Skypiea, but it's not a good ending for it, in my opinion. That's just personally. So I guess we're not getting into it later. I guess I just said it. But anyway, we can talk more about it. Anyway, so that's another reason I'm fine with them pulling it forward. Yeah. Speaking of, Bartolomeo, he is in this episode, and I love it. Yes, did he actually meet the Straw Hats? No. But he did. He was there in Loguetown in Luffy's execution, and that's how he fell in love and became a fanboy. Right. Because he saw him grin and somehow lived. So I'm happy they incorporated him, because ain't no way we're getting to Dressrosa. And they did it in such a good job, too. Like, having Nami teach him, find a mark, and, steal from... That was that being Luffy's. And then Buggy being like, oh, I love your style. And then just using him as a hostage.
Buggy, this episode was so good, too. Because he's like, you have him be the worst lawyer on Earth, where he's like, does he deserve to die?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like... He's like, you're not a very good lawyer. I gotta be real.
Right? Oh... Speaking of Buggy, again, another thing I noticed is we don't really get to talk about Moji ever in the live action, because he's just not really a thing. Probably because Richie isn't a thing, because lions are expensive to CG. But I do like how they did change his costume, because Kabaji and Buggy look the same. But what I think is nice is they did change Moji's costume to, it's either it's one of two times. It's either right before, it's when Buggy meets Ace accidentally. That little plot thread is when Moji looks like a bunny rabbit. But I actually think it's after Buggy gets captured and taken to Impel Down, and they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry, Captain. We aren't going after you." And then they're like, "Hey, we're co-captain." That kind of thing. Yeah. I feel like it's that is when he looks like a bunny rabbit. But I do like them drawing those designs from other parts of the future story. It's just fun to see. Just like drawing all the costumes from like cover stories. Oh, I didn't even mention, that should have been part of my summary. The makeup and costume design is on point.
It really is.
Killing it. Yeah, that's it. That's really it for every episode. I'll get to one makeup that I think looks awkward, but yeah, I should have said that earlier in my summary. My bad. I am paying attention. Do I recognize every single cover story and color walk outfit? No, but I can tell that they're still pulling from those, which is nice to see. Because, it's better than just seeing the same old every episode. Right. It's a new day, which is so anime.
Yeah, like, that works in anime, but in a live action, it's not, like, again, they're leaning into the silliness by or not silliness, I guess, really. Like, this is still part of the world where they have different outfits. Yeah. In, like, cover stories and stuff like that. Like, in the actual anime, they don't really change them a ton.
Arc per arc, that's about it.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of chapters.
Like, I like that they're still keeping it a little bit realistic, where they do change, like, they're not just in the same stuff all the time. But it also works because they're not just, like, randomly, like, putting them in random things. For sure. Yeah.
I think the last cameo...
One of the cameos that happens this episode is you get a shot... You don't know who he is... because he's just there, like, he doesn't say anything and nobody says anything about him, but you get a shot of Sabo and it's really fun.
Yes. I think so that's like the round of the cameos, which was a lot this episode, and especially because Bartolomeo plays a huge part. And it's just cool to see. But I do think what I like this episode too is you see another fishman, because we got a little hint that the Baratier, the one you first meet, is a fishman, and that's why Arlong was like all upset, like, oh, you're letting humans control you, blah 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 blah. Right. And so I thought that was cool that even in East Blue they're tying in fishmen. The market, I guess, salesman who Sanji gets the elephant tuna fish from is a fishman, and I was like, that's really cool to see, because later on we do get a nod to, again in part 2 of this episode, I guess, when we talk about this episode, but we do get a nod to fishmen, but it's not really spoken blatantly who they are. It's just fisherman lore, but I like seeing them actually incorporate that even in Loguetown. So the only problem I have this episode is 2 minor things. One is Alvida's attack against Luffy, which is just sliding around him. It's goofy, but not in a I can get immersed in it way. It just looks weird. And I'm like, I think what the problem is the fact that they're having her spiral him. I feel like if she had slid and whacked him with her mace, that would have worked better for me. Yeah. Rather than sliding around, grabbing the mace, and then whacking him.
Right. Because I might be misremembering the way that it looks, but, like, I feel like they close up on a lot of it, and I'm like, that fruit works better when you're seeing it from farther away. Yes,
for sure, because you get the traction from the slide, 100%. I feel like that's just a One Piece live action problem. Not really a problem, because I like close-ups, but sometimes they're too much. Yeah. Too many close-ups, so I'm with you there. But anyway, the last VFX nod, I think the lightning was done really well in the scaffolding, and I do like when it blows up Buggy into bits. I think that's funny. but it also looks really weird when they're electrocuting Buggy.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate that the fact that that's just how it looks, because every other time they do, like, some sort of lightning effect or, like, static, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just this one, and again, nitpick, because all the other VFX is great.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised they ran out of budget on the one little lightning shot they didn't need to focus on. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all my thoughts for the most part for Loguetown. I mean, without being like, oh, it's great. Because the fight, another thing I forgot from my summary, the fight choreography is so much better. It's like John Wick level, honestly. It's so well done, aside from the Elvita bit. So well done all the time, especially incorporating, like VFX Chopper in later episodes. But yeah, keep forgetting to say that. But yeah, I would say that's the main cool stuff I caught in Loguetown was all these cute cameos and references. And, bringing story beats from later on and now when it is canonically accurate. I say that loosely because it doesn't have to be, but like I like the fact that they are doing it.
Yeah, and in a way that works, because I saw people, not a ton, but like complaints about the season that I've seen. One of them is that they're bringing stuff later in and referencing it now.
I'm like, are we going to address
like,
Rosa?
Yeah, I'm like, do you think like if they're not doing it in a I would understand if it were just like cameos and stuff like that for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Which, like, you could argue that, like, stuff like Sabo, where he just appears and doesn't say anything and nobody says anything about him, is just for, like, the sake of it, I guess. But I don't know. I think that's not the only thing.
Yeah. At least we can believe he would be there because Dragon's there already.
No, it makes sense. Like, he is... But it's, like, not just... Oh, he's here now. It's like he literally does have connections to Dragon being a revolutionary himself. And obviously, like, it's not done in a spoilery way where his name... and who he is not explained to you.
And also, actually, I think it might be a reference to fan theories, because a lot of fan theories insist, as if Oda planned this, that in the first, widescape shot of Luffy looking down at Loguetown, there's one top hat, that's gotta be Sabo!
That's it!
Like, I do feel like that might be a nod to just crazy fan theories, It could not be, but...
Yeah. Like, not even just Sabo, I'm talking about, like, but that's more of or not recent, but, like, on my mind example, I suppose. Yeah. I think, like, complaints about that don't, like, it's...
I think as long as it's done respectfully,
right,
as canonically, like, I say canonically accurate in, like...
this isn't, like, I do sorry, not to...
No, go for it.
Like, I think the complaints about it are a little bit silly, because it's, like, some of the reasoning behind it seems like, oh, you're putting this stuff in here so early when we don't get information about this until later, like, why are you setting this... Or not setting this up, but, like, why are you referencing this now when it doesn't appear until later?
Because
and I'm like, because we're not putting out 1,000 episodes.
Exactly.
Of this. I'm sorry.
They're not gonna get there. They're gonna grow up. I'm adamant that they're not making it to Marineford. And hey, if they prove me wrong, great. But they're probably gonna be in at least 35 by then. Let's just be real. Think of how long it would take to produce like at least 5, probably 4 to 5 seasons just to get to Marineford. And not even talking about another season for it.
Yeah,
that's crazy far in the future. I'd be surprised if they put that out within a decade. That'd be crazy. But also. I'm sorry, Oda literally has grown in his writing, he's added more depth. It's not like he thought of everything. People are like, oh, he's such a genius. Dude just knows what he wrote and connects things to it.
Right.
Like, let's just be real. Yeah, some things are pretty cool that he popped out the supernovas in, like, one night. That's cool. Yeah. But that's also a rare exception. It's not the rule.
Right.
And also, let's be real here. The thing I mentioned earlier that, Roger was talking to Garp about, he had to have known because canonically it happens before his execution because he's still alive. Yeah. So it works. Mm-hmm. And Bartolomeo falling in love with Luffy, oh no, he met him? That's such a detriment. He met the one he ends up fanboying about?
Right.
Bummer.
Like, he still works because you know that he was there at least. Yeah. So it still works having him interact with the Straw Hats, whereas before he did not. And
it's only again after Luffy gets executed that he falls in love and does a little...
Exactly.
Just cute. Yeah. People are crazy. and I will say, when I first watched it, I did pause a lot because I was like so jarred that they put it there. But it was less about, oh, I'm sad they put it here, more like I'm just shocked it's here. Right. And that threw me. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Episode 2! So again, I think this is where the titles go bad. Not in like the worst way, but I'm like, do we have to do these puns? Good whale hunting. Do we have to name it that? I don't have a better title name, but I'm like, some of them I like. This is not one of them. I think this episode, again, does such a great job pulling later stuff to now. So, first off, they start off with Reverse Mountain. Crazy that the actors and actresses were actually at that crazy incline. Like, fighting for their life on slippery decks. Right. Like, I'm so happy. I mean, props to them for doing all this and their stunts and things, but I'm also so happy with all the practicality they're putting into the show. Like, you can see how it's really working for them, and like it makes the show so much better using practical sets, using this actual incline on the Mary as if you're fighting a reverse mountain. Right. It just works. And like I really appreciate just how well it looks. Because I feel like they could have cheapened it. They didn't have to. They could have done like... Do you know Star Trek? Do you know the iconic, they were like leaning on set?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't tilted, they were leaning.
Right.
It could have looked like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but we're like 40 years in the future. I'm so glad we're not doing that.
Right.
Obviously, budgets and different circumstances. So I'm glad that we're, with all our money and time, they're actually going for it. Like that's another thing I love about this adaptation is they are going for it all the time, every time. I think the only cute thing is that when they're talking about it, like Nami's so adamant, like, I'm sorry, this is how it works, which is so Nami when Zora's poking at her, like, oh, I'm pretty sure that water doesn't go up.
Right.
Like, come on, bro.
Like, I do like that it gives Nami more time to shine as their navigator.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Nami episode.
Yeah.
Because she, like, gets vulnerable later on about, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know there was a whale.
Yeah.
And you know it's just, and she does feel that way, and Zora was literally just poking at her, being like, oh, well, we got eaten by a whale. You know he doesn't mean it, but also you can see that Nami isn't really quite used to, like, not being responsible for every decision she makes.
Yeah.
And not realizing, hey, I can lean on these guys. Which is great to see. I like that. But yeah, I think they did, again, I'm skipping by the stuff that I don't think I should talk about because it's great as is. If it's superb, I will mention it, but otherwise if it's perfectly serviceable, I'm not going to spend an extra 10 minutes gushing. So I feel like that's kind of like summing up while we're jumping around.
Yeah.
I would say Crocus works for me.
Oh yeah, having him, because I think the big change is him not being in the whale.
Yeah, him not being in the Laboon, I'm fine with that, because they also give a little nod later to stop saying, hey, you could always build a house in Laboon.
Yeah.
Yes, you could! You could even paint your stomach!
Right.
And so it's fun to see that, and they do like, and besides, Laboon is just as fantastical as always, because it's like Pinocchio in there, it's like, whoa, just empty.
Yeah.
How is this man alive? Don't
I
question
also think it works because it's like, they do a good job in making the, like, once you get more, like, because you have Crocus and then Luffy is outside of Laboon also with Crocus, and then the rest of, both the Mary and the rest of the crew are in Laboon for most of the episode. So I think, like, not to say that, like, having Crocus in his house and everything inside of Laboon is, like, completely undoable, but I do think with, like, seeing the way that they do the inside of Laboon, it's not that he's, like, super small or anything. Like, they do a very good job of making, like, the inside of the whale feel like the inside of a whale. Yeah. Or maybe not the inside of, but like the inside of a
big creature.
Yeah, big creature.
Yes.
But I think, like, if you were to also add Crocus into that and
it'd
his
be
house,
very
it would
cramped.
be, yeah.
And also, I feel like this works better because there is a canonical lighthouse, Twin Capes anyway. Right there. That is where literally Crocus, like, sits and chills anyway, canonically. I think the only bad thing, and I say bad very loosely because I think it works again for the adaptation, because again it's not the exact same Luffy, but it works, right? It's still just as good. I think the only thing I have a complaint about is that they keep making him seem so frail. Like, he's like, oh, when Luffy jump scares him, he grabs his heart and stuff, and I'm like, man is shooting at a whale. Like, I get he's supposed to be old, but man, I'm not saying he's like ultra, buff and like a super strong fit man, but he's healthy in the anime and manga for a 71-year-old. Speaking of that, I love that they kind of take a nod to the anime gag of like, oh, you should introduce yourself first. Sorry, I'm Gemini. I'm 71. I'm blood type X or whatever. Right. And they do that by him shoving all that down Luffy's throat. It's funny. But that's the only bad thing. And and the reason I say this is because I'm like, he lives on a pirate ship, and he does live alone with a giant whale. Like, you would think he is healthy physically. So it does kind of bug me slightly, but not enough to be like, he's terrible or something. Yeah, this is terrible. Exactly. Yeah. It is funny though how they use the same actor for the flashback. And I could not find this. I watched it twice. I rewound. I don't know if it's just Netflix messing with me. I don't think they mentioned how long ago it was that Laboon came there and the Rumbar Pirates were there. I don't think they say it's 50 years ago. Because even though they make Crocus look younger, it's the same actor, they don't mention the time. And I wonder if that's because they can't make him look younger enough. Yeah. Because, man, he's supposed to be 21 in that flashback. He don't look 21.
They tried.
They tried. But, it does make me wonder if they don't specify the time for either because of that or because they know they're not going to get to Thriller Bark anyway. But I feel like by having it now, and then if you start at Thriller Bark, you're gonna.
We already know.
We already know, right? And if you're a skeleton, everyone's dead. So it's pretty easy to figure out, right? You don't have the gut punch of meeting Brooke and recognizing he is Laboon's crew and he's the only one left. Edit, blah, 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 blah. It's really sad. I'm glossing over it, but you know. So I feel like that might be. It doesn't have to be. I could just be reading into it. But I'm also like thinking that might be why they don't mention the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to speak about the Rumble Pirates?
Yes, because I love. Well, also just talking about like the casting and the. Well, I guess this is less a costume design thing and more casting, really. But I love Brooke and Yorkie. Not that the rest of them are bad, but like those are
we also don't know them.
Yeah, we also don't really see them a whole lot.
Yeah.
I like Brooke so much. He looks so good.
His laugh, and if that's the same, okay, I'm hoping, because if so, it's phenomenal. But I'm hoping it's the actor's laugh and voice singing, because it's phenomenal.
Because I was gonna say, like, I don't 100% know if it's him singing, but I'm assuming that it is.
It sounds like it should be, or they got a really good other person to match the tone. But I feel like based on his delivery and demeanor, it has to be.
Yeah.
The laugh for sure has to be. It's so good. I didn't even think about adapting Brooke now. It wasn't even on my mind that they would bring it forward. But especially so, that's a hard laugh to sound like a laugh.
Yeah.
Without sounding cheesy, and I feel like he nailed it.
I think because you get, well, this might be the first one that you, or no, I think you get some of them in the first episode too. But like, I like that they're keeping like the weird laughs.
Yes!
It's fun, and they do such a good job.
I have a couple laughs to talk about in part 2 for sure. I think they're doing great. I think it's probably less evident because we don't really get many laughs until Little Garden that are iconic, I should say. I feel like that's when Goofy laughs popped off.
Right.
For Oda. I still think one of my favorite laughs is Perona's.
Yeah.
It's so goofy. I love it. Oh. And you can't go wrong with I can't do it. I don't have a deep voice, and I also started laughing anyway. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the casting, but the acting as well.
Yeah.
Like not only the physicality, and obviously that can be fixed with makeup for some of it, right? But also just the fact that they're so good at portraying these roles. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And I love hearing Bink Sake because we got it in the first season.
Yeah.
I also realized, man, I don't know the English lyrics.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, I don't think I've ever
once I've heard it.
I don't think I've ever heard it. I've like read the English lyrics. I could not tell you what they are, but I've at least seen them, but I've never heard them.
I heard them once and immediately was like, nah, I'm good with the Japanese version.
Yeah.
And I think that's also because I'm aware of how many double entendres there are with Japanese and why Oda uses some of those words and how they're not. It's not all, like, I think the translation does a good job for what it can, because English just is not Japanese. Shocking. They're different languages. So I feel like it works. But all I could think of was Binkosu no sake wo. And I was like, Binks is brew. I
was like, wait, that's not, it is how it goes.
Yeah, and that's how they rhyme. Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, and yes, for fans of the manga, I did catch the poses when Luffy is singing. So, I'm not gonna say it because technically it's not. It really is more important Wano on. Yeah. It's not really reverie friendly, but I did catch it and I thought it was cute, and I did think Luffy singing a little bit was cute. It
was.
I won't deny. I always find it funny how Luffy fought Laboon. I found it so funny because I think it's because of the gag where they're like, "Hey, Luffy, you doing good?" and the mask is just gone, and you see him running towards Laboon just to stab him.
Right.
I think that's just so funny. It's so classic anime humor.
Yeah.
And then the slapstick too. But I think this works better. Yeah. I feel like I don't know if Luffy actually fully knew Bink Sake until Brooke. Like I don't think he fully knew the song, the lyric. I mean, I'm sure he knew how it went, but I think he would mess with the lyrics. But I feel like it's nice anyway to have that intent of connecting to Laboon with a song we like. Yeah. Just to be like, hey, I like the song, you like the song, your crew's gone, but I'm here. I'm your new crew friend.
I promise.
I promise. Yeah. Which is just sweet. I think that did a good job with that. It's a change I actually appreciate. And again, part of the reason I think this arc is actually one of two I think doesn't actually elevate the material is because I think I can take it either way because I love the gags and humor of, and the fantastical element of being inside a whale, living inside a whale specifically, and Crocus being so cool that he tanks the hits from Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, and then they knock him out. Yeah. I think that's just all so good. But I also feel like this adaptation is so good as well. Yeah. Even though Mr. Nine kind of takes himself out of the fight, but it's fun. I don't know. I hesitate to say title card, but I don't know. I guess character intro card, the Baroque Works
those
cards.
are also cute.
Those are so cute. I'm so glad they introduced them because I totally forgot. Because we had wanted posters, we still do, but they're not often. Yeah, they're in the first and last episode. So I think it works. Kind of paralleling it with the little Baroque Works kind of business card vibe. Yeah. And having their own skull and crossbones is so cute. But I just love, like, oh, Nami and Zoro crumple it up. Just, to see them interact with it, it's so fun as usual.
Mm-hmm. And even just, like, also Vivian and Mr. 9 being introduced this episode.
Right?
They're so good.
I'm so impressed with Vivi. Like, she is just, she's perfect. She's, And Mr. 9, too. I was like, at first, I was like, he doesn't feel intimidating, but that is kind of the point, is they're not. Yeah. They're really not.
Right. Especially them specifically are not supposed to be that. I mean, like, intimidating to an extent, but they're not supposed to be, like, crocodile level intimidating.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like, oh, you're annoying, not intimidating. You're frustrating. Yeah. And I think that works, too, because we already know they're lower ranked than Mr. 7, who Zoro literally cut in half season 1, episode 1. So, like, it works. Oh, we didn't even talk about that in Loguetown. The fact that Baroque Works showed up at Shellstown.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's a big change that I like. Mm-hmm. I think it works because it makes sense that you would check to see if, hey, why is this guy not responding? Is he dead?
Right.
So I'm not surprised, because that's the whole point of them as an organization, is to keep building, and if one of your agents is down, you want to replace that.
Yeah.
Plus, it's nice to see Robin flex on the Marines. It's just fun.
Yeah. And you also get, I think, at the end of that episode, too, Robin talking to Tashigi.
Oh, right.
Which was
one of the few things I don't like. Okay, I love Robin. They overuse Robin this season.
A little bit,
It's more of a problem for me. Less of a problem in this episode. I mean, it's still weird. I still don't like it, but at least she's canonically in the East Blue, I guess, right now.
Right.
Based on them bringing down a Marine base. Which is just crazy to think about, that, like, within a day, they take down a Marine base, and then Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine show up Whiskey Peak. But we'll get to that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't like the idea that Smoker's a bad person.
Yeah, I think they, like...
They set that up this episode, in episode 2. They set it up,
and I think they do a good... Or, well, maybe not with Smoker, but they do a good job of, like, bringing it back, at least with Tashigi. Because, like, the seed is planted of, like, oh, is Tashigi, like, gonna, like, try and... Not fight against Smoker, but I guess is she gonna, like, try and separate from him and do her own thing, which, like...
I don't mind.
I don't mind that inherently, but I don't think it makes sense.
It made me worried. Like, when we saw that scene... You can attest to this. I was like, oh, are they gonna set up a betrayal?
That's what I thought too.
I was like so confused. I was like, what are they setting this up for?
Because I was like, are they gonna have it? And they don't really do this.
They don't
think, which is good. Like I was like, okay, well, obviously Tashigi being with Smoker is like a very important thing. So I don't think
literally the duo.
Yeah, so I don't think they're gonna completely separate them or at least like have them be separated by the end of the season. But I'm like, are we still gonna have them like?
Yeah.
Conflict in some way and then bring it back, and I'm like, I don't want to.
And it's also weird that they set that up, because here in this episode they immediately cut it off,
right?
Because Tashigi just eavesdrops and then blatantly enters Garp and Smoker's meeting, which is another change we'll talk about in a second. But since we're on the Tashigi train, I'll finish it. Mm-hmm. And then she says, "Oh no, Robin!" She doesn't know it's Robin, but the woman. She's a bad guy.
Yeah, right.
Whoops. I mean, I like Kobe and Helmuppo more so Kobe, but I love Helmuppo in this adaptation. But Kobe encouraging Tashigi to be like, "Tell me your dream, go for it." But I don't like the idea that Smoker would be against this, because Smoker is the literal rebel of the Marines who disobeys orders and doesn't care and is like, Tashigi, you're my gal.
Yeah.
I just don't want you getting hurt.
Right.
And it makes me feel like, it's also weird because writing-wise, I caught this. End of season 1, Smoker in the bar, Tashigi is like, we're gonna go after the Straw Hats into the Grand Line. Suddenly in the next episode, because of Garp's talk, he's like, I'm going alone and you're staying here. I'm like, what is this writing?
Yeah, why?
Why would he suddenly say that? It's like, oh no, danger? It was the Grand Line. So it's just weird. Yeah. It's just weird, but I do like her, like, getting her way, being like, I am gonna do my goal. I'm coming with you. And he's like, cool.
And she just her little dance.
It's cute. Also, what's funny about that scene is she's so short. She's standing on the stairs. It's cute.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. Mm-hmm. And I know they're not like, well, I don't know if the live action is going to do this, but I know they're not technically like romantic partners or anything, but it's just cute to see her do that. But speaking of changes, Garp, Kobe, and Helmuppo are in Loguetown, and I don't hate it. Makes sense they would stop there, the Marine base, before heading into the Grand Line to Marineford. Marineford name drop. Mm-hmm. Love the lore. And again, I like the Tashigi interaction, and I think having Garp explain Baroque Works actually works for me. I don't think it should have been the impetus for Smoker to chase Luffy. I don't like that Garp of all people is like, well, don't go after him now, because we don't have to worry.
Right.
You literally just did that season 1.
I'm like, that was your whole thing, season 1,
and it was for protection.
Right.
But I also don't like it because it makes it feel like Smoker's obeying, which the whole point of why Smoker's so fun in this, and frankly, the only time you see him until Marineford is in this saga, and he's chasing Luffy despite his orders. He finds out about Baroque Works on his own through Mr. Levin, is like, oh, the Straw Hats are involved. Then he goes to Alabasta and discovers the truth, essentially, by getting captured and being saved, and that makes him respect Luffy so much more. And it's just like, it feels to me, I get why they did it, and I don't hate Garp being there and explaining Baroque Works. I don't like that that's why he's sending him into the Grand Line. I think he should have been like, no, you just stay, and then Smoker and Tashigi leave anyway.
Right.
Because, to me, it takes away Smoker's agency.
Yeah.
Because the whole cool thing about Smoker is he resists authority despite being the authority.
Right.
So I kind of don't like that.
Yeah.
I wish what they had done is I like Garp and Bizarro kind of like dual explain. Not really. I guess they just cut between the explanations. But you have them explain Baroque Works, and I like that Garp says that because it adds more weight to the fact that it's a warlord later on when it's revealed at the end of the season. Shocker, it's Crocodile. I like that because it helps build up the hype. But again, I don't like that. Oh, I'll let you go if you go after Baroque Works. Like, bruh.
Yeah.
No, you should have said, I'm investigating this, but you have to stay here because you're not chasing the Straw Hats, and then they go in. I would have liked that better. And because they know about Baroque Works, they would have been on the lookout anyway. Yeah. I think that would have worked better to keep Smoker's, not identity, but his agency. Yeah. Right? He still feels Smoker, but like just a little less like he has his own volition and goals, and more like, oh, I guess I will listen to authority after all, when he very much does not do that during the saga.
Yeah.
it's a minor complaint.
Yeah.
It's a minor writing problem. It's just like Orland Park, where it's like, why did the villagers not know? Why did you take that away? It was such a bar in the anime and manga. Right. It's just like, you could have kept it.
Yeah, that's not something that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
You
can have your cake and eat it too. Why'd you change it?
Yeah, like, because some of the changes are like, oh, okay, we're obviously not continuing this up to this, like, up until current manga, so, like, we need to change this to make this a coherent story, but that's one of the things where I'm like, you don't need to change that at all. That doesn't affect, like, how far you can go.
For sure. And again, minor complaint.
Yeah.
Minor. And it only bugs me because it's, like, kind of Smoker's core. You're messing with a little bit. You're tinkering with it. And it also is rich coming from Garp.
Yeah.
Even if we know the reason, even if Smoker obviously points out the reason, oh, it's your grandson. Like, it's just so stupid. It's just, it feels like, no offense, it feels like two writing teams wrote Garp season 1, season 2. I think that's about it, right? Yeah. Changes-wise. The funny bit. The humor of this episode. Peak humor. Peak Zoro humor. This is what I came for. This is what One Piece is about. Yeah. This is what we need. We need that Tarzan yell. If they get this Hypea, they better do the Tarzan swing and yell. If not, I'm going to be severely disappointed.
If not.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to be like, what do you mean he didn't do it? What do you mean he didn't do it?
That's his whole thing.
It's his thing. I love it. She's like, oh, you can't get at her with a big sword. And he's like, what's about that? Yeah, and then Zoro makes the shovel next to a stick and ties it. And she's like, what is that? And he's like, you said I made a big sword. And I'm gonna hit that punching bag thing. She's like, you mean the Uvula? He's like, oh, it's a girl will. Oh, it's a peak humor. And then when he tries to save Usopp with it and it breaks, he's like so depressed.
Yeah, it's like he's like, no,
he's heartbroken. He doesn't care about Usopp. He's heartbroken. His sword died.
Right.
So good.
Yeah.
This is what we needed in season 1. We needed Goofy Zoro.
We did.
Because jokes on you people who are like, oh, he's edgy. Why are you making him unedgy? Zoro is just a sword version of Luffy.
He literally
with bad direction.
Exactly.
And green hair. Like, that's it. Oh.
Yeah. Also, Sanji and Usopp going after Mr. 9 when they're like...
Yes.
Where Sanji's like, actually, you go.
Yeah, you go.
You go get it. You got it.
Which brave Usopp moment.
Yeah.
Usopp would have been like, I have stay on the ship disease. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's not stay on the ship disease. It's more like exploring a ghost ship disease.
Yeah.
So props to Usopp for actually touching that slimy, nasty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what I like about this episode is it's slower because you get to focus on the crew dynamics. Like, you have the Zoro and Nami, both of their concerns about, like, mainly Nami's about navigating with the log posts, and then Usopp and Sanji kind of not reckoning with their self-worth, but I feel like they might have been paired because of that. I do feel like maybe the pairings aren't that deep, but, like, one of the reasons Sanji understands Usopp so well, despite for fans hating Usopp, I guess, is the fact that they are both, like, have that kind of, like, lack of self-worth.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Right.
But anyway, I do think this was probably as good as it could have been adapted, and I'm really pleased with it too, to see Baroque and Yorkie.
Yeah.
And obviously the tease at the end with Roger, and we get the log post. Log post looks really good. I'm not surprised, like, Vivi and Mr. 9 didn't have a log post this version, because why would you do that? The whole point is their ship got destroyed anyway.
Right.
Presumably, all their supplies and log posts would as well, but so it doesn't bother me, those kind of changes, because it just makes sense for what they changed already.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, the final episode for this episode, part 1.
Yeah.
Episode 3, Whiskey Business. This is one of the few titles that works for me. I think it's just because it sounds cool. Whiskey Business. I don't know. I'm a sucker for funny puns. Good Whale Hunting is not a funny pun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Whiskey Peak. Wow, is this a better version of it than the manga anime? Let me just say, do I kind of miss Zoro and Luffy one-shotting Miss Valentine, Mr. 5? Absolutely. Am I really happy their dumb fight is not in this? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whew, what an
There's
improvement.
no reason for that to...
No reason for that to exist. Everyone admits it. Every fan admits it. It's like Pell dying and then coming back to life. Why did he come back to life? He should have been dead. It's a nuclear explosion. Why is he here?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So yeah, I just had to get that off my chest.
No, exactly.
Take it away.
I think I guess the majority of this episode is Zoro clearing out the bar.
The saloon.
Oh my god. One of the things, because I think the choreography really shines in this episode, not even just because it's obviously Zoro's taking down 100 people.
Yeah.
But also because you could very easily just cut out parts of it and make it shorter, or so that you don't you could go the route of have him just show obviously that he takes out everybody in that bar, but you could very easily you could very easily just be oh, he's gotten this many people, now he's going after the big ones. But I like that they don't do that, and they commit to not doing that, and they also make it interesting. Because I don't feel like I ever got tired of watching him fight.
Never. And I think...
Which you would think you would, because of how long... I mean, they cut in between...
a couple times,
It's not just him fighting for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They do cut in between other things happening. But, even that, you would think, oh, maybe you would get tired of this. But I think it's so interestingly done.
I think I have 3 reasons for mine, again.
Yeah.
I guess I should have said, these are subjective opinions, duh.
Right.
But yeah, for my perspective, I think there are 3 reasons why this works. One is Mihawk aura farming.
Oh,
admittedly, because he shadowboxes him.
Yeah, that's how our episode starts, and I was almost
we were both what is it trauma?
Yeah.
What's going on?
See? But I do that was one of the things that I said while watching the episode, is that I do like that having Mihawk be there. Yes, he is aura farming the whole time.
He really is. I'm all for it.
But it does also characterize Zoro a little bit, and I don't think it it at least explains the more serious... I don't think the intention was, this is why he was so serious in season 1. But it at least, gives you a little bit of information about, why he cares so much about, training and working hard and making sure, taking down... it makes sense.
He's hard on himself.
Yeah, it explains, why he's so... obsessed with becoming the strongest a little bit,
I don't think it explains.
Or
it demonstrates.
It, but yeah.
It's a demonstration of this is how far I'm gonna go.
This is how he thinks.
Yeah, I don't know why I slapped my hand.
It does a good job of yes, because if we just had if we didn't have Mihawk and obviously they wouldn't have done this, but say you don't have as much of Mihawk in season 1 in that fight, and then in this one he comes back and you're why is this the vessel through which we're exploring Zoro's own self-doubt, I guess, to an extent. Not doubt, but
I feel it's
frustration with his own level
abilities. I would agree with that.
But it works because, well, I don't know, not because.
I feel like it's good because it's clear it is a hallucination, if you want to call that.
Yeah.
It's very clear that Mihawk is the manifestation of Zoro's goal.
Yeah.
That's made clear in the first season. Oh, this is my goal, literally personified.
Yeah.
It's not like a Pirate King that is just a title, right?
Yeah.
It's very clear, I have to beat this guy. And I think having that there shows not only how hard on himself Zoro is, but also I am well aware he would not struggle with this, so I am not allowed to struggle with this. Even though it's phenomenal that he's not struggling. That's just sick. But I think that's one reason. It was just some aura farming and kind of giving more insight during the fight, which is great to see. But the second reason is, man, and I do want to praise the choreography, but which is obviously the point, but the set. how the choreography uses this phenomenal
set,
set and the set design. The bridge. I love the suspension bridge that he cuts and then swings on. And then later, after he pushes someone off the second level, he cuts another rope with like a sandbag attached, I presume, just fling up to the third level and walks across the plank. Like, it's just so dynamic for just being a saloon. It could have easily been a one-level bar. Yeah. Because let's be real, in the anime manga, he's outside cutting these people down at highways and stuff and goes inside, which is cool. But they're not going to have time to do that. Yeah. I'm frankly impressed they were able to do this because apparently McKenna only had 8 hours to prepare for this. Like 8 hours of training, and I'm like, and it went that well.
And did an insane job.
And like he's fighting people going up the stairs, fighting people going up the bridge, saving Zoro, saving Usopp and Sanji, which is just funny. Actually, one of my fun bits of choreography is the twins. I don't know if it's the same actress twice, but either way, one of them picks the other and cartwheels kicks her to Zoro, which is kind of funny to me. That's kind of funny. Then he kills her. But yeah, I think it's how they do all that and then head outside on the rooftop for Mr. 9. And then that translates into going into the alley and fighting him and Miss Monday. Which actually, I'm happy they kept. Because I spotted her. Once I saw that done, I was like, hey, Miss Monday, what's going on? Yeah. But I thought that was cool that they actually got her time to shine. Because the whole point of her is she's super strong and hurts him. And then he beats her with one hand. And obviously not this case, but yeah. So that's the second reason. Is the set. And then the third reason, I think, is the fact that they devote time to it. You kind of already touched on this, really. But it's kind of like, in the anime and manga, they don't really show you everything. Yeah. They kind of do, but they kind of don't. I guess more so the anime, obviously they do, but it's just very clear he's just fighting a lot of people. And then there's the occasional gag of Vivian Carew messing up, and then, you know, like the saxophone that Igor uses, which we'll talk about, and stuff like that, and him appearing behind them in the midst of, which is fun. It's aura farming Zoro. And I think that's something people might miss, like, because obviously the other nun who sprays at him does actually catch him off guard and stabs him, but then it leads to a cool moment where he uses his hearing to catch her and kick her off guard, which is sick. And I think part of the reason these changes happen is the fact that it's a new environment and it's it's an adaptation. It's a different Zoro. Because that nun used to be with a child, and he was like, slash, anyway. Yeah. Who cares if you're a kid? You're trying to poison me in the anime manga, which is funny, but they're not going to hire a child just to get killed. So it's fine. Yeah. But yeah. I think those are the three main reasons outside of the phenomenal choreography. And, of course, McKenna killing it. Exactly. Doing those stunts. Oh. Yeah.
This is not related to anything about
the
fight, but before this happens, when the Straw Hats first get into the bar, shout out. I think it presumably is him, because, okay, I was going to say Igaron playing the saxophone.
It's not him, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think the music is him playing it. Like, I think they're just showing him, but the music is coming from somewhere else. But either way, whoever, I forget their names, because I do listen to the soundtrack. Yes. But shout out to them, because
Sonya
that track goes
something.
Crazy. Yeah, Sonya
can't remember.
Something.
And then the other one. Whoops, can't remember. I know it.
Yeah.
It's a good track, and I love that they did that to make a nod to like the saxophone weapon he has in the anime manga, where it goes pa 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 pa, machine gun, I guess, or something like that. It's funny. But I will say there's a minor nitpick I have for the VFX, and it's clearly just like a budget thing at this point. But there are some shots at the beginning of Whiskey Peak, and also this is a problem later in Little Garden, but it's few and far between. It's really only these two sets I feel like were problematic. Because aside from green screen and reverse mountain, which you can't really escape, it's gonna look like that, and it looked as good as it could anyway, and it had so many sets anyhow. I thought it looked great. But there are times where you can clearly see, because of the fact that there's no VFX, you can clearly tell this town is in the middle of nowhere, near no sea.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, it's only noticeable if you look for it. Same issue with Little Garden. If you're looking for the background stuff, you're not going to see it. It's so setty. Yeah. But I feel like they fixed that problem really well in Drum, I think. And it's only at the beginning shots of both arcs. Yeah. It's really the only problem at the beginning before they go in the saloon, and at the beginning of Little Garden, which is part 2 problem to discuss about. But yeah, it's not a big deal. The only thing that caught me off guard when they were entering the town is the ice cream car.
Ice cream car, yeah, that was
which
weird.
Is at least it paid off and was goofy.
Right.
I'll give it that. It was funny, the little pedals. It reminded me of like the Flintstones. It's so goofy. But yeah, I'm happy they kept the goofy elements, like Iram's his guns and his hair. So happy they kept that. So happy they kept that. I was afraid. I was like, he's not doing the sounds. I guess they're not. And then he did it. I was like, so great. Actually, speaking of which, I thought they also had a really great nod to his to 2 things about Igaram. One, his design is the 8s. They kept the 8s on his coat. which only if you're looking will you see them.
Yeah.
To show, like, early on, it's obviously mystery.
Right.
Yeah. Before Vivi enters. And then later when Vivi enters and she and Agram are, like, after they do... I'm surprised they kept the Vivi hypnotic dance, but at least they added the saxophone to make it seem like it was a music thing.
Yeah.
And not a body thing.
Yeah, right.
So that's something, I guess. But, I really liked that when Luffy wakes up and is like, you're gonna steal a Mary. Before Vivi throws the pie, you can see they have Agram reach for his ties as if he's about to shoot him, but then Vivi throws the pie and they leave.
Right.
So I thought that was a cute nod. It's like when JJK always does the Mega Me pose and then he doesn't do it just to tease you. And then when he finally does it, you're like, oh, that's what he was gonna do all the time.
Yeah.
It's just cute. Cute
Maharaga.
little foreshadowing moments that work in the context of the story. Sorry.
No, you're so good. Because speaking of Vivi and Igaram, I presume one of the big changes, because, I mean, we don't see...
You talking about Kuru?
Well, that too. I actually forgot about Kuru.
I forgot. So, a funny story in our watch, I forgot until we got to the Little Garden. Episode 5.
mentioned him, and I was like, oh yeah,
I was like,
did exist.
Yeah, but it's, I
think it's
two reasons
fine.
I think it's fine without. One, CGI budget. I'm
Right.
totally down. Because when they had Kuru, she wasn't... Miss Wednesday was never really a threat, but they at least made her more competent by not having her get lost on her duck. Yeah. So that's something, because that was a very overused gag in the anime, is that Kuru just went the wrong direction. But also it makes sense, because they do mention Kuru too in Little Garden, which is nice, and I was going to touch on it then. I probably will still for part 2. But what makes sense is, like, I actually thought of it, I was like, yeah, these ducks are only in Alabasta. The woman who looks like their princess with a specific Alabastan duck.
Take that? Yeah.
So I think it works not having Kuru there, and it's less of a hindrance for their budget.
Right. But what I was gonna say is that, like, again, I presume this is a change because obviously we'll, I guess, find out if it is a permanent change when we get to Alabasta. Yeah. But they actually do kill off Igaram, presumably.
I actually think he is dead.
Yeah, because I'm like, I think that's harder to sell. I don't know. I guess, like, I feel like that's harder to sell in a live action, him being, like, just miraculously alive.
Yes,
especially the way that
leaves me hope that they'll kill Pell.
Yeah, we'll get into this. Yeah. My other, because I just thought of it. My other reason is in a later episode, but I think...
The funeral. Yeah, the pyre, I guess, yeah.
Right.
I that's part of my reason. The second reason, my first reason why I think he's dead, is because it's not Robin who kills him. The only reason he's allowed to live is because it's Robin who kills him when he's when he's cosplaying as Vivi and sailing away.
Oh, that's right.
Because again, in the original, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine have been knocked out by Luffy and Zoro unintentionally, which is just an aura farm. Let's be real. Yeah. But obviously, it's not the same. And the fact that it's Mr. 5 who kills him blatantly in the middle, and then they have a funeral later. I'm that solidified, because I was like, I think he's dead, and they had that. Yeah. Which, again, we can talk about in Little Garden. But then once that happened, I was like, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. And they do Vivi's actor specifically does such a good job.
Yes.
In that scene. It's so, it hits. Even though you don't get a ton of, like, because there are more emotional scenes later on in the season just by proxy of, like, you see these characters longer, so you're more attached to them. Yeah. But, even not having seen Igaram on his own, but also Igaram and Vivi specifically. Like, even though you haven't seen a ton of them, I think it's still a really good scene. They did a good job. For sure.
I feel like that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
they also give Vivi his little. She doesn't keep it, but they give her his little handkerchief, and she puts it in her hair.
I love that part too. I think. There is one thing I want to mention, because while there is a lot of cute stuff happening, I don't think there's anything super important to mention, especially since we're taking a lot of time to talk about it. But I think the last thing I want to say is I love that they kept the Mr. 9 standing on, no, Vivi is my partner. I'm dying for her. Because they could have easily just cut that scene. Yeah. Save time and budget and be like, oh, he died with Zoro. But I'm so happy they kept it, because in the original, Mr. 9 and Miss Monday find out in the open, and they both fight Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, well aware they're dying in the process for their partners, because that's how much they care for Igaram and Vivi. Yeah. So I love that they kept that. Obviously, they did the dig of, like, well, you're screwed anyway with Mr. Zero. Yeah. But it's like, even so, when they offered, no, we can let you redeem yourself, we will, if you come and help us, he was like, no, I'd still rather die. She is my partner. Yeah. I was like, thank you for keeping that. Because we needed stuff like that. Because I like that it's not black and white. Like, she lied to me. Oh, I must betray her too. Right. Because no, she clearly trusted him. That's why they were partners. Yeah, exactly. So that was cute. we have talked a lot, and we're probably going to keep talking a lot for the next one. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. Cover the first 3. We will pick up and just hop right into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then end off with a little what predictions, concerns we have, Pell, and how far do we think the live action is going to get. I kind of said it this episode, but a more fleshed out discussion of that. So yeah, we'll see you next week.